our spirit? What is it? Where does it go? Are we able to see them using our mind's eye? If so, just what can spirit teach us? Welcome to School Through Spirit. Host DeEtte Renee is a certified psychic medium and master teacher of psychic and mediumship development through LWISSD. DeEtte was born knowing spirit and now is here to help you better understand the spirit world. And now your host, DeEtte Renee.
Good Monday morning, everybody. This is DeEtte here on School Through Spirit with the Edge Network, bringing to you Monday morning of just enlightening messages through spirit as we go about our days, hoping to make things a little bit easier, a little bit brighter, and see what we can do. So as every Monday morning, as we know, we do start our morning with Neil Diamond Walsh. There we go. Trying something new today, guys. Trying something new. So we do start our Monday mornings every Monday with a little bit of Neil Diamond Walsh. We always use his good book. Why? Because it's a good starting place for me and to go from there. Now, we also have the Edge magazine, everybody. So the Edge magazine, this is the last issue. I do believe the new one is on its way out, which is really incredible. I love that. This is a great magazine. You can either go, good morning, Tim. Good morning, Keith. You can either go to your local drop spot and grab this for free, or for a small fee, you can have it delivered straight to your house every other month. I love it. That magazine's got so many amazing articles in it. It's got a beautiful directory of healers. Oh, thank you, Keith. Healers and psychics and mediums and coaches and products, holistic products. It's just incredible how it just kind of goes on and on and on, which is awesome. And as always, we do finish up our show with our 5-card stud. Today, we are using the Queen with the Queen of Moon Oracle. This is by Stacey Demarco, and it is Rockpool Publishing. This is what we're using today. It's one of my older ones, but I felt like I needed to dig it out, so I did. And we are going to use this one because it just seems fun. It seems fun. So there is that. And as we all know, we are into October. We are into October. Oh my gosh. I'm already bringing out the sweaters and the sweatshirts and the blankets, and I'm a freezing type person. And for anybody out there listening that knows my grandchildren, guess who turned 5 today? It is Dawson. He is 5 today. So happy birthday, Dawson. A big shout out to you. So let's get to our book. Let's bring to our book. We all know I pick it last week. All I do is open it up. I throw this lovely card. It is, believe it or not, it's a Raven card. I throw the Raven card in it, and then I forget about it. I completely forget about it. So here are the pages for today. Here are the pages. It says you are 3 beings in one, really. And although all aspects of you, the soul, mind, and body, are exactly equal, you can cause your physical self to experience pain and suffering. Yet this much is so. The soul will never override the body or the mind. What does that all mean? I mean, that sounds crazy, doesn't it? So let's reread it again. You are 3 beings in one. And although all aspects of you, soul, mind, and body, are exactly equal, you can cause your physical self to experience pain and suffering. Yet this much is so. The soul will never override the body or the mind. And I will tell you what, wow, this is a biggie. This is a biggie. So, and when I read this, it literally makes me go back to some training I had, really, I will say some formative training I had, which was Reiki. And a lot of people out there know what Reiki is. They're either Reiki masters or trained in Reiki or had Reiki. And if you don't know what it is, it's a beautiful energy form to help heal the body. Okay. And it's really using universal energy that's, good morning, Larry, energy that's all around us to be able to be channeled through a practitioner into a client or into a person. Now, myself, I am a Reiki master teacher, something I don't do very often, but I do still do. And whenever I get my brick and mortar up, I'm going to go back to offering Reiki again. But So the thing in Reiki is there's a belief in Reiki is that we cause our own issues. That's a biggie, right? Because I know a lot of people are going to go, well, what do you mean by that? You're going to tell me I cause cancer, I cause strokes, I cause this. Yes. And it is yes. It's a big yes. Our emotions, our thoughts create our issues at hand, our issues within our body. Okay. When you look at, and I know a lot of people are like, well, that's just preposterous. Well, I will tell you what, I worked with stroke victims. I've worked with cancer patients. I've worked with different people on the Reiki aspect. And I have watched them cure. I mean, I had a stroke victim I worked with, and it was beautiful. He was a stroke victim that was a high profile manager in a very large chain of stores, and he went from being this very powerful person to living in a nursing home. And they stated that he'd never be able to get out of that nursing home ever. Like he wasn't going to be able to do that. And by the sheer power of himself, he was able to get from a nursing home to a very high structured group home of like 6 or 7 people, to where he was able to walk, but barely. I mean, to get down a hallway took him like 20 minutes. But he was happy with that progress. And that's when I got brought in. And he didn't really know about Reiki, but somebody else had hired me to come in. And when we worked together, the first thing I seen was a day when he said to himself he didn't want to die, but he was done with this life. He didn't know how to change it, but it was a quick thought, boom, in his brain. I'm done. And I'd asked him, when did you have that thought? Because I'm seeing it so strong within you. He goes, oh my God, I'll never forget it, because I was in a ladder. It was the day of my stroke. And I was sick and tired of everything. It was like issue after issue after issue. And he'd reached out to grab something, and instantly he thought it, and boom, the stroke occurred. Okay, well, let's work with that. Let's work with that. And once he'd healed that moment, once he'd gone back to go, what was it in life that he wanted to exit out of? And we were able to work with those thoughts and those feelings. This gentleman went from literally this grouping home status to living on his own, going to get his own groceries, going to do it all, living in a downtown out of a major city, navigating by himself. Now, I haven't spoke to him in years, but just to watch a gentleman be able to get through that. And I have since worked with several people on the aspect of physical injuries, physical pain, you name it, diseases. I've worked with multiples conditions. And with each one, it's been the same thing. They've caused it themselves. Not intentionally. It's not an intentional, but it is the mind working with the body. Now let's just separate that, the mind here and the body here. This mind is so powerful. It's so powerful. It creates things within the body. Challenges, circumstances, things we don't want to deal with, things we don't know how to overcome. And it creates it. Now, we do have that aspect of the soul when we put it in there, because it does. And I know everybody's going to go, but I have the soul that doesn't want to let. No, the soul doesn't want to live in a body that has got issues because the body struggles. But you do have this beautiful soul that says, okay, if this is what the mind and body wants, we'll just go about it. We'll just jump on board and we'll do whatever they want, because it's going to be growth for the soul no matter what. No matter what happens to this mind and this body, it's still going to be growth. So let's break it down a little bit further. I want to break this down. Let's break this down so that, because I can give you all this, and I can hear all the screams in my head going, what about children? What about this? What about that? And I get it. It is so hard. It is so hard to wrap our brains around this. I get it. I understand it. Okay. But even today, we work with my grandchildren that are 7 and 5, and we work with them when they come up with things within themselves, whether it's a stomach ache or sore throat, we will literally look at them and say, okay, your throat hurts. And we will assess, does your nose hurt? Do your sinuses hurt? Does your tummy hurt? No, it's just my throat. Okay, what are you trying to tell me? And we literally do that. What do you want to talk to me about? And then we'll talk. And magically, the sore throat disappears. Stomach, it hurts out of nowhere. What's going on? What are you feeling right now? What's bothering you? And we talk about it, and the tummy ache goes away. Now, is this the same thing as a cold virus and this and that? No, I don't want to go to that part, because we do have viruses. We have a lot. And yes, in my world, do I believe, yes, I cause those? I do believe that. But I'm not expecting you to believe it also. In my world, I do believe when I get a cold or anything like that, I literally, when I start to get the symptoms of a sniffle or sore throat, I will instantly go, what is it in my life that I don't want to deal with right now, that I'm allowing this to happen to myself? Why do I feel like I need to be taken out? Why do I feel like I need to, I needed rest, and I wasn't giving my body rest? Or there's something I didn't want to do, and it's in front of me, and I'm going to have to do it. Well, now I've already created the issue, so I'm going to have to still deal with the issue as I push through the event that I may not have wanted to deal with. And I know that as an adult, and I know that as a practitioner myself. But I do understand that not everybody is on that. So let's break this down, because it says 3 aspects: the soul, the mind, and the body. And so often, so when we break this down, once we break it down, it might help a little bit more. So let's break it down. Let's break it down to the soul. Let's start with that aspect, the soul. The soul is something that's going to live. It's eternal. It doesn't die. It keeps going on. Okay? It is this beautiful energy. Okay? And I don't like I'm not going to use the term ghost, because I think that's just really a bad term that has got too much stereotypicals onto it. So let's go to the soul being more like a spirit, or the soul being more like an energy form. Okay, an energy form. If you can wrap your brain around that, and anybody that knows Star Trek can wrap your brain around a body materializing and dematerializing. Okay, so when you think about that body dematerializing on the platform, and you're seeing the little forms go, and that's basically the soul in there. Okay, so I want you to wrap your brain around that visual. Okay, so the soul is an energy form, and the soul is eternal. It never dies. Once it is birthed, or once it is formed, created, it is eternal. It gets into this body, which is its vehicle, and it goes through a lifetime, which we look at as a linear time. And at some point, it exits this body. And even though the body doesn't continue, the soul does. Okay? So what does the soul want? The soul has got unconditional love. It lives a perfect existence. Okay? It's unconditional love. There's no want for money. There's no hunger. There's no anything. It's energy. It's beautiful. It's in the afterlife. It's in heaven. It's in whatever you want to call it. But it's beautiful. Okay? But the problem with it, because there's a defect with it. And the thing is, it's unconditional love. It's its defect. As much as it is its blessing, it's also its defect. Why? Because that's all the soul understands, because it's perfect. It doesn't understand hunger. It doesn't understand different aspects of love. It doesn't understand anger. It doesn't understand heartache. It doesn't understand anything other than unconditional love. And for it to understand and to grow, it has to go someplace to get that. So it chooses a life. It chooses a body. It chooses a mom and a dad. Good morning, Sarah. You're never late, darling. It chooses all these amazing experiences it wants. Okay? And it looks at it and it goes, okay, I want to understand different aspects of love, or I want to understand whatever it is. And it starts to design a life that it wants. And it only designs major aspects. It doesn't design a whole life, just major aspects of it. Okay. And it starts it and it jumps in to a body, aka the body. Okay. There's a brain in there. The brain is part of the body, just so you know. So when we talk about the mind is separate from the brain. So that gets a little confusing, but it jumps into a body. Okay. And this body's growing and it has a soul and it's learning. And it's learning through those wonderful formative years. The formative years are literally birth through 5 years old, or roughly right there. It's where that mind is being developed. It's where the mind is starting to get into belief system and the mind is starting to get thoughts. Because again, the brain is an organ. The mind is the thought. Does that help break that down a little bit? So it's that gray area. And I like to tell people, I like to kind of break this down and use this analogy for a few different things. But if your body was your cell phone, your iPhone, and your mind is the iCloud, does that make sense? Does that help break it down a little bit? So that is your 3 aspects. You have the soul, which is riding in the vehicle. The vehicle is the body. The thought process of that computer chip of the vehicle is the mind. And those are the 3 different aspects. Now, literally, when the soul gets into this body, it's kind of like we're being in the Star Wars or Star Trek, where we have got vehicles that literally drive by thought process, by the mind. And the soul's just getting into it. The soul's just along for the ride at this point. It's there, but it's there for the ride. That's it. It's not controlling anything. It's just an observer. It's learning. It needs this vehicle to learn. So that's one aspect. And the funny thing is when this body and this mind is done, all that's going is the soul. It's taking the thought processes, the memories with it. But it's leaving all this. It's leaving the body and the mind here. Okay? So the soul, again, is not the driving force. It is the creator. And it's going to get in, and it's going to observe, and it's going to learn, and it's going to understand, and it's going to grow, and it's going to go back when it's done with a lot more knowledge and a lot more understanding than it ever had before. Okay? So let's go down to the body. Now, the body, again, is just a vehicle. It's just a vehicle. As much as we want to put so much on this body, it's a car. The cars break down and we fix them. We get into accents with them and we put a new fender on it. That's it. It gets rust spots. We sand it down and we put some asphalt on it and we repaint it. Change the color of them. But think about getting one car and you've got to pick that car. And that's the car you're going to drive until you die. And that's essentially what it is. So you better be all y'all out there grabbing Volkswagen should be going for Mercedes, you know. But again, the body is just a car. So what's the driving force behind it all? It's the mind. The mind is literally the driving force behind everything in life. It's your thoughts. It's how you work things out. It's the memories. It's all of it. Your mind literally reacts based on things it knows. And it likes to run old programs. It loves to run old programs. So let's take this. Let's take this back because we're going, the mind runs old programs. When you were a kid and you didn't want to go to school, what did you tell your mom or dad? I don't feel good. Because not feeling good is going to get you a sick day. And you're going to get out of going to school. And that's something you're programmed in. More than likely because of one of 2 things have happened. Either you've seen mom or dad get sick and stay home from school. They get to get out of their life for a day. Every day you have to go to school. Every day you got to go to school. Every day you got to go to work. How do you get a halt at life for a moment? You get sick. Now, I don't know about you, but I know for myself, I never went to the third day of school for 12 years. The third day. For whatever reason, I programmed into myself every third day I was going to get sick and I didn't want to go to school. And I really think it was because on the third day, I was like, I'm done with the chaos. I don't want to do this. And somehow I made myself sick the third day of school every year. It's incredible. But that's how our programming works. That's how our mind works. Our mind says, if I get sick, I get a jail-free card. I don't have to do this today. I don't have to do life anymore. I don't want to die, but I don't want life to be the way it was anymore. I need change. So I'm going to flip something really quick to cause change. A lot of times that's going to be injury. That's going to be illness. It's going to be something that's going to knock you off your socks to stop things. And I know that sounds really preposterous, but look throughout your life. Think about those things, for people that have had major things. And when the people I have worked with, we're looking at major illness, major injury. These aren't just the common colds that we push through or, even flu. These are major things. Look within the life and go, wait a second, what is it in life that you just went, I need change, but I don't know how to change it? I will tell you, every person I've ever worked with, this has been the case. And hey, Lee, I'm glad you found me today, because I forgot to tag you. And it's incredible when you look at this. It's incredible when you look back, because I know so many people look at me and go, oh my God, Dad, that's preposterous. Because trust me, if I ever worked with one person and came at them at the front door and said, oh my gosh, and the very first day, if I started working with somebody and I said, we have to go back to the day that you decided you didn't want to do this anymore and cause your injury or cause your illness, nobody would work with me. They'd go, you're crazy. And I'd probably look at myself and think I was insane. But when you break down the body, the mind, and the soul, you break it down, you realize that the soul is there, but it's not going to override the body. And truly, the mind is what's controlling the body. And the mind is the one that's saying, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to do this. This is my old pattern. This is my own way of thought. And this is what I'm going to do. And it's not a conscious thing. The mind is not consciously going. Nobody in their right mind is thinking up front going, I don't feel like doing this anymore. Let's just cause a stroke. Let's just cause a heart attack. Let's just cause whatever illness. Because that's not how it works. It's running an old program back here that says, back in my formative years, I learned if I was sick, I didn't have to do what I had to do. And that's back here. So when injury happens, when something happens, and you go, wait a second, what was it in my life that I wasn't wanting to face, that I didn't even know I wasn't wanting to face? And you break that down. And you come down to the core of this. And you start to deal with what it was that you didn't want to face. I'm not going to say miraculously you're better, because it's not. You still have to fight for yourself to get back to it. Because the body, it takes time to break down the body. So it takes time to build the body back up. But when you face it, you go, wait a second, and you start to rewrite old beliefs, old patterns in your mind. Because you literally, when you face it, you start to rewrite old things. You start to go, wait a second. Yeah, when I was a kid, when I was sick, if I didn't want to go to school, I got sick and I didn't have to go to school. But really, I was going to sit back and watch TV all day. I was going to read a book. I was going to do this. I was going to do that. I was just going to play hooky. Instead, I'm going to look at my mom and dad, and I'm going to rewrite that thought in my brain. I'm going to look at my parents and go, I don't want to lay around sick all day and pretend to do this. I'm just going to look at my parents and say, you know what? I'm just struggling today. And I really feel like having tomorrow off. Can I just have a personal health day? Wow, instantly you start to rewrite patterns, don't you? Because as an adult, you go, you know what? I need to rewrite my pattern. Instead of looking at ourselves and stating, I'm in this miserable job and I don't want to be in this job, but I've been in this job for like 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And gosh, I don't want to do this anymore. What else can I do? And give yourself a get out of jail free card. Get out of this job free card. I'm going to go to something else and become happy. So many of those things can be changed. I love that dialing for dollars. So many things can be changed if we start to rewrite the patterns in our brain. So often in life, we feel we are stuck in things. We're stuck going to school. We're stuck going to work. We're stuck with this job. We're stuck in this marriage. We're stuck in this friendship. We're stuck. And the only way we get out is if something major happens. A catastrophe happens. And that's usually a catastrophe to this on some level. So if we stop and we go, wait a second, I don't want this to have an issue. I don't want my body to have an issue. I don't want my vehicle to have an issue. But what I do want is my mind to have more freedom. So I'm just going to flip it. I'm going to say to myself, I don't have to do this anymore. Nothing says that I have to stay in this job, and nothing says I have to stay in this relationship, and nothing says that I have to stay in this city or this state or this country. Nothing says this is what I have to do. I can change that. I can change my mind and do it. Allow yourself out. Your soul in the end is going to be happier. Why? Because again, it's there for the ride. But it's going to get a growth and an understanding. It's going to get more than what you were previously given it. It's going to get more experiences, more growth. Your soul's going to go back to the afterlife happy as can be because your mind and your body gave it more. Your body's going to be healthier because your mind isn't going to be telling it to do something stupid to get your jail out of free card. And your mind's going to expand to say, wait a second, I can problem solve out of this. I don't have to give myself a million excuses to affect change. And I know all this in one hand feels so easy. And in another hand, it feels so impossible. And I get it, guys. I get it because within life, it's usually one or the other. But I will tell you what, when the mind figures out that it truly is the driving force of everything, and that it is more powerful than life itself, and then that mind can change the world, and it can change the direction of everything just by a thought process. That's when the body gets happier. And if you don't believe me, talk to anybody that's gone through a midlife crisis or all of a sudden one day just asked for a divorce. Did something that you look as being irrational. Because instantly their mind got off the old train track and jumped on a new one that said, that one looks better. I'm jumping on that. Let's go. And they will tell you they found happiness. They found a better way of being because they stopped using the old patterns of thought. So look at that. Again, your soul is not going to override the body. It's not going to take its pain away. It's not going to take its illness away. It's not going to bring in a miraculous cure because it's there for the ride. You really got to get your mind involved. You've really got to stop and think, what in my mind was I thinking when this happened or when this started? And then realize It may not have been a quick thought. It might have been 10 years in the making. But go back to the core of it. Go back to where your mind first started picking this stuff up and start to change it from there. So with that being said, I hope today's words of spirit helped you in some way. This is DeEtte here on School Through Spirit. We'll be back in a few minutes with our 5-card stud. I will see you all in a few.
Explore your higher consciousness with the Edge Media Platform. We're a multimedia platform dedicated to connecting curious teachers and seekers in a safe, welcoming space. Dive into spiritual growth with our print magazine, digital content, podcasts, and in-person experiences. Whether you're seeking wisdom or sharing it, we're here to inspire and uplift your journey, here, there, and everywhere. Connect with us today. Is your space aligned with your dreams? Do you feel inspired when you walk in the door? Carol Hyder can help you create a space that you love, where you thrive, and where you always want to be. Using her 29 years of experience as a feng shui consultant, teacher, author, and trainer, she can help you bring forth the inspired essence of your home or office, making a place where you feel whole and safe. Learn the specific feng shui adjustments that Carol has seen as the most important, such as determining which room in your home should be your favorite, why your stove may be affecting your health, and why your office may be holding you back. Contact Carol at 612-823-5093 or carolhyder.com to discuss the specifics with a personal appointment. By elevating the energy of your space, it becomes sacred and you will be forever changed. Contact Carol at Carol Hyder, that's CarolHyder.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is DeEtte here on the Edge Network with School Through Spirit. Sorry. We're on to our 5-card stud, everybody, and we are using the Queen of the Moon Oracle today. This is by Stacey, Demarco, and it's guidance through lunar and seasonal energies, and it is Rockpool Publishing. As everybody knows, I love the 5-card stud. Why? Because quite simply, what this is, I get to review cards, so you don't have to. If you're anything like me, I have gone through my life and I have got what I would have considered a small addiction of cards. And what I found is a lot of them, I would buy them, I'd open them, I'd use them once, and I go, oh, really not for me. I don't really like these cards. And I'd put them on a shelf and I'd go about my day. And I had my few trusted that I really loved. And I would go back to the, and I'd go to the store and I'd find another one. I go, oh, let's try these. So for me, what I'm doing is I buy decks, or people send me decks. A lot of people send me decks, which I truly love. Either they have created the decks, published the decks, bought the decks, love the decks, whatever, they find their way to me. And then I review the decks. Now, do I have a lot of decks? I do. But what do I do with these decks when I'm done? So I don't want you guys to think if you send me decks that I'm holding on to these decks for dear life. I am not. When I find or hear of charity causes, whether there is an auction or whatever going on, I create boxes with decks of cards in there, maybe a book or notebook or whatever, and we put them up for auction. So we recycle these back to a good cause. And I've had various people go, oh my gosh, I want to get on board with that. And they will sublimate stuff. They will cricket stuff. They send me their books, whatever it is. And they say, put that in the auction. And that's what I do. So I literally have goods, products, merchandise that I put into boxes for other people to get, because again, they're raffling them off. So, but today's deck isn't only but a goodie. This is one of my personal ones that I do love, but I do love it. It's called Queen of the Moon Oracle Deck. On the back of the deck says, humans have always connected to the mystical power of the moon and the energy of the seasons. This beautifully illustrated Queen of the Moon Oracle allows you, the modern seeker, to plug into these, the most primal energies of all. Features a moon cycle of lunar images, each gorgeously rendered and able to use stunning circular altar displays, experience the seasonal moons and the power they can provide, learn which moons are best timings for ritual and spellcraft, and making talismans for prosperity, love, health, and more. So this deck really, it's been one of my fan favorites. Why? Because it does also have a lot of moon aspects. Am I Wiccan? I am not. But if you follow the moon phases, this is a great deck for that. Okay. So nothing inside of it. That's okay. Not every deck has got to have everything inside of it. It does come with a nice little book in here. As you can see, this is my personal one, but this tells you how often I use these books. Really don't. I really don't. Not unless I have to. What I do like about this is it does, if you look inside the book, it has the card, the name of the card. It's got an action, it's got a power statement or an action statement in there. And then it tells you a little bit about the card for you to just have that extra little bit. It does have, whether it's a waxy moon, a full moon, a new moon, whatever it might be. And so it does give you a little extra. It does give a little bit of spreads in there. It has an area that says, this is how you use the deck. This is how the cards are about. It also has an aspect here where it says full moon, what the full moon's about, what the waning moon is, the waxy moon, all that wonderful stuff. So this really is a good book for that. So guys, how do we play 5-card stud? This is a reading. Okay. This is a reading. Okay. This is not put up the chat, give me a reading. No, it's not that. For everybody that's listening before, this is an aspect for everybody across the next 7 days. How we do this is I'm going to read 5 different cards, one each individually, tell you what I'm getting off of each card. You can pick card number 1, card number 2, card number 4. You can pick 2 or 3 cards. You can pick all the cards, whatever you'd like, or you can wait, because when I'm done with each individual card, I go back to talk about the full reading of the cards. Now, if you're really creative and you're like me and you got a lot of different issues in your life, write down your issues and give a number next to it, up to 6, because you can essentially have 6 readings in this one 5-card stud that I'm doing. Okay. So here we go. And then once it's done, I send this to a beautiful lady that works within the Edge, and she beautifully puts it together and puts it on the website. So you can always go back and refer to it throughout the week, either on Instagram, the Edge Network, or the Edge Magazine Instagram, their Facebook page, wherever. It's there. It's there, guys. And when I'm done with an 8-week period, I pick the deck that I liked the best, and I send it into the Edge. And you know what they do? They put that 5-card star reading into the magazine. So, and guess what? After today, I picked my favorite one this week. And I already have a feeling I know which one it is. Well, I can't even wait for you. You guys don't get to know it for another week, though. Or another month. Sorry. A couple of months. Tis what it is. So let's do this. Let's do this. Card number 1 is Attraction. It's the supermoon Attraction. I am telling you, especially when you put this next to a supermoon, card number 1, you are bringing some stuff to you. You are bringing some stuff to you if you picked card number 1. And what I mean about this is holy balls, holy cow, here it comes all at you, because you have put out there, you want some change, you want some stuff, and it is hitting you square in between the eyes. Okay, it's hitting you here, and you're going, oh, I didn't want all that. Whether this isn't going to be something small. This is something big. This is change. This is different things happening to you. So you have got situations in your life that are happening right now, whether it be positive or negative, however you're viewing this has been something pretty big, and you're going, why is this happening to me? How do I get out of this? Number 1, look at it that you attracted this to you. You brought this to you. You said, I need change, and this is what's happened to you. So when you start looking at it in that aspect, whether this be, oh my God, I woke up and my car broke down. I was in a car accident. Oh my God, whatever the situation might be, realize you attracted the situation to you, because again, you needed a huge change within your life, and that's helping you to bring that change. Card number 2 is Pleasure. It's the waning move. It's pleasure. Now, I love this card because when you're looking at this card, it is complete bliss. This is not just the small little feel-good pleasure. This is complete bliss. This is going around. This is joy. This is inhabiting you. This is everything. And this is what you truly need in your life. This card is about bringing that to you. You have not allowed yourself to realize you need bliss in your life. You need all the feel goods, okay? And you have been stopping yourself from it. So if you pick card number 2, you have put pleasure, joy, happiness on a halt for whatever reason. And this card is telling you it is time for you to allow that back in, to allow yourself to feel it, to allow yourself to experience it, and to start looking at life a little bit different, because life does not to be as heavy as it's been. Card number 3 is balance. It is the waning moon. Look at that. That is an old lady balancing all the different moons on a cloud on her head. That takes skill when you look at this. And that's what you're looking at with this card, is you have got too much all over the place. This is not one. This is not two. This is multiple things all around you are happening, and you're feeling like you're getting weighed too much because you're leaning one way than the other, and your muscles are getting sore, your brain's getting sore, everything's getting sore. You've had enough. Why? Because you haven't found balance. And I know we hear this all the time, but we always thinking that's balance as being work versus pleasure. You need that balance. But no, it's so much more than that. It is every aspect of your life has got to come together to balance itself and be perfectly even in order for you to be able to function beautifully and correctly. And when you do have complete balance in your life, life is not a struggle. Life is no longer hard. So if you're looking at, oh my gosh, how do I make this better? How do I make this right? That's why you picked card number 3. It's because you have to, it's time for you to look at all the different aspects of your life and make them all even out. Card number 4 is the unexpected, the blue moon. Ooh, this almost scares me because something is coming at you. You're not looking at it. You're not thinking it. You're going to go, oh my God, what is going on? You know, when they say once in a blue moon, the unexpected. So when if you pick card number 4, watch it. This week for you, something is going to come out of left field that you're going to go, I'd have never thought that in 100 years would have ever happened. Whether this is positive or negative, heavy or light, it is something, it's kind of like that curveball being thrown at you. Okay. But I think it's a positive one. I don't think it's a negative. I think it's more positive. I think how you view it is going to be the issue, though, because I do believe that this coming at you is something that's going to help you through life, help you kind of ease stuff. But I have a feeling you're going to go, why me? Why now? It is perfect timing, and you need to look at it. It is a perfect timing, but it is happening to better your life in the long run. And the last card for today is surrender. Nobody likes this card. It's surrender. You need to give into it. You're going into an uncomfort zone. If you pick card number 5, you are going into an uncomfort zone. Life is uncomfortable right now, and you're going, I can't handle this anymore. Okay? Card number 5 is surrender. When we surrender to it, life gets easier. Believe it or not, it's the struggle that makes life hard. When you just sit back and you go, there's nothing I can do about this. All I can do is live through it, whatever. Life gets easier. There's an old adage, if you're going to, if you know, and this is what I do, and I learned this a long time ago. This is my idea of surrender. I've gotten in one of those situations where all of a sudden it's been too icy, especially since I live in Wisconsin, and my car starts to spin out. I've got one of two choices. I can either tense up and go, oh my God, what am I going to do? And try to hit the brakes and steer the car and blah, 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 which is never good. Or I can scream, yeehaw, and counteract. Trust me. One of those ways is going to end up better than the other. So surrender. It's going to help you. Valuable lesson. Card number 1 is attraction. Card number 2 is pleasure. Card number 3 is balance. Card number 4 is unexpected. And card number 5 is surrender. And when I'm looking at all these, I get a tingly good feeling, because when I'm looking at all this, there's a lot that's happening this week. This is a week that you've been going, wait a second. I have really been putting a lot out to the universe. I really want some stuff to happen. This has been in the works for a long time. This is not something like today you're going, I want to win $1 million. I'm going to go track this money. No, this is something that's been in the works for a very long time behind the scenes. This is something you put out there a long time ago and you started to work towards it. Okay. And this is a week that's happening, but it's going to come unexpected to you because you're going to go, wait a second. How did that happen? Why? Because you actually asked for it a long time ago. You attracted this to you a long time ago. Allow yourself to realize that things are going to be happening. This is where that surrender card comes in. You're going to go into this uncomfort zone. It's unexpected right now, but you're going to have to just kind of fold with it, deal with it, allow yourself to kind of get used to it and allow it to kind of happen. You're going to have to rebalance that life, okay? Because you have been used to everything one way. It's like, oh my gosh, which way am I going to go? But trust me, this is all for the good. This is all going to make your life better. It's going to make your life happier. It's going to make your life a lot easier. But again, this has been something that's been in the works for a very long time. So enjoy it and allow yourself to go forward. Okay. This is a week we've been waiting for. This is a week that you're not going to expect, but it's a week you've been waiting for. Hopefully that helps everybody. Oh, I always love these cards. So I'm super happy I brought these out of retirement for today. I hope you guys enjoy them as much as I do. Listen, ma'am, if you're going to do a reading specifically for me, you at least take me. You got to trust. I love her. Okay, guys. What am I doing this week? This is what I'm doing. I'm in Minnesota this weekend, guys. It's been forever, it feels like, but I am back in Minnesota this weekend. On Saturday, I'm in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. And then Sunday, I'm in Alexandria. Both days, I am doing readings all day long. But on Sunday, Alexandria, I am doing the gallery. I am that person that gets to stand up in front of everybody else and talk to your loved ones. So that's my happy spot, guys. We all know that when I get to do that, love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. But yes, I am back to full-time readings Saturday and Sunday. So if you want those personal readings and you're in that area or within a couple hour area and you want that one-on-one with me, please take a time to come in and get that reading. If you're afraid that you might miss that time with me, because these both days, every time I've been up there, guys, both places, I am slammed all day, every day. You can pre-book. Just get a hold of me ahead of time and say, hey, DeEtte, I'm going to be there at this time. Can I sit down with you? Yes, I will put you in the schedule and nobody can take your block. Okay. So that's where I'm at this weekend. I'm also finishing up in intermediate class this weekend, guys, which means advanced will probably be starting soon if anybody wants to jump on board with that. Oh my gosh. And as always, guys, I have my schedule opened up for all of October. I'm looking at opening it up for November. So if you want to book those readings with me at home, feel free to do that. I am more than happy to do that. Okay. And slowly behind the scenes, I am doing a brick and mortar. I am doing the walls. I'm doing the floor, the furniture, all of it slowly behind the scenes coming together so that I can start to do one-on-one readings in my hometown and also go back to doing some teaching because my brick and mortar is going to have my own school. A small classroom for me to be able to teach in. So I'm super excited about that. And I'm going to go back to doing healing with energy healing because I found that I truly love Reiki. I truly love to get people on the table and just really help their bodies and their mind and their soul kind of come together in one, which I love to do. With that being said, guys, we're going to give you guys a break for the rest of the day and let you go. I sure hope you enjoy my show. And I can't wait to see you again next week here on School Through Spirit with DeEtte on the Edge Network. It's been a great day. I can't wait to see you again next week. See you guys all soon. Bye-bye.
There are psychic mediums, but there is nothing like DeEtte. Let's face it, we all struggle time and again. But if you seek the clarity you deserve, then you need to seek DeEtte. As a master teacher, DeEtte studied under international psychic medium Lisa Williams. Together, they not only help DeEtte better tap into spirit, but also build a long-lasting relationship. So many psychics tell us what we want to hear, and that just won't cut it with DeEtte. She tells you what you need to hear. No sugarcoating here. To book a reading with DeEtte is simple. Just visit her website, DeEtte.us. That's DeEtte.us. And follow the Yellow Brick Road to connect with DeEtte. Don't just sit there and ponder those questions. Ask them and let DeEtte guide you every step of the way. You need insight now, and DeEtte can help. Just visit DeEtte.us. That's DeEtte.us.